A few seconds and then...
I was going to say how I'm going to say I got married by photograph.
You got married, sorry?
By photograph.
Did you?
Yeah.
Why? Is that normal?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Those days, how can I say? I have to say all my story? I don't know.
Was it like an arranged marriage then?
My husband to be then, he was in England for 5 years before. Is it?
Yeah. Just chatting.
No, yeah.
Just chatting.
And his uncle went to Cyprus, and he wants to have a girl to get married, in England. So my mother-in-law, she was from my village, was like a town, my village. And you want the names of the villages?
We'll go into all that. No problem.
My husband to be say, he was living in Ardana. Ardana. I came from Lefkonigo.
Right.
So my mother-in-law, she wants to get the daughter-in-law from Lefkonigo. So they send a message to my parents, and obviously they sent a message afterwards because I said no. I was young. I was about 16 and a half, just after my 16 and a half. So my father, he says, no, I don't have a daughter to get married. And then they come again and again with a photograph. And why I say yes, I didn't know the man, And they had it on the table, the photograph, and they asked me, and I said, yes, it's a nice man, but not for me. He was older than me, 13 years as well. It's a nice man, but not for me. I was not 17, 16 and a half I was. And we left it like that, and then the parents, they're coming back and back again. And one day I said, I have to say to my mother, enough is enough, because in a village, in a town, when you used to go to church, everybody talk about you. When you walk in to go for a cinema, to somewhere, those days, like a restaurant, like a cafe, everybody talking about me, about she's going to get married with that man and all that. And one day I was fed up and I said to my mother, look, I say, better you say yes, and then whatever has happened, has happened. So that was the beginning. And then his parents came with his uncle, the one from England, and they finished it. So I went to the village. I stayed there for a couple of months. And then obviously I was coming back to England. I left from Cyprus 21st of November 1955. Yes, and I left, coming with an Otria ship, an Otria.
Right.
So I stopped to Alexandria, where I stopped. We get out, and I've been to pyramids, and then to Piraeus. They took us to Parthenon, and we have to go to cinema then.
Is this your dating experience?
Yeah. I went after it was in Italy, Venice, and after that I was very sick in the ship, and then I want to go somewhere to eat like beans, fasolia. So we stopped to Marsalia, and he took us to a restaurant, the uncle for my husband. And from there we stopped to Paris, and from Paris to Calais, and from Calais to Victoria Station, which I met my husband to be. I never see him before. I didn't know, but I have some of my relations, and they waited for me there. And then from there I had to go to his uncle's house. But my relation, when I stopped in Victoria, they want to take me because I was very young, and they want me to go with them. And I said no. My parents, they said, to come for this one, and I go for it.
Was you nervous?
Oh, very. Everybody got down from the train, and I wasn't on the train. Then one of my cousins came up and said, Nitsa, are you coming down? I said, yes, but coming down to see what? Some of my relations there. One lady, she was in England before my mother, she married. Never mind to know her. And then I have two of my first cousins, and I have another first cousin for my mother, and a first cousin from my father. And they're waiting everybody for me there. So we left from there, we went to his uncle, but because my family, they want to take me, in 2 weeks' time, I got married. So I got married in London because he thinks they're going to take me. And I got married in All Saints in West End, the church.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I got married there. When I went there to get married, they said they're not going to marry me because I was underage. And I didn't have a letter from my father. A few days afterwards, I was 17 anyway. And my husband, too, he paid for, and we got married. From there, we used to live in Hammersmith.
Very nice area.
Yeah. So we stopped there got married December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. And then we come to Bristol, Weston, for a holiday. Because one of my husband's first cousin, he used to have business down here. And when he's been to our wedding, he says, why don't you come, where we are? So we come for a holiday. And when we come for a holiday, my husband, he was a chef. So they used to have a restaurant, and one very big restaurant, very busy in August, and they kept him here. They sent me back, but because I didn't have any family or anything, I was so young, I used to cry a lot. And then my husband, he phoned. Those days was very difficult, the phones. He has to phone somewhere else, and then they tell me. And I have to go and get all his stuff from where he used to work with Italian people. And I came on the train, so we come to Weston. And my husband, he worked in Weston here one summer, and then he worked another summer. So his cousin, he used to live in Bristol, and we used to live there. So after that, my husband, he always wants to do something himself. He bought a small cafe on, Bristol, on the bottom of St. Michael's Hill, Park Row. That's the cafe on the corner, with his sister. And then the next door used to be a barber shop, was for sale. They bought that overnight, they pulled the wall down, and they opened the next day. So we stayed there for a bit, and then we left from City Road, where we used to live, and I bought a house in Brislington. And in Bristol, I have the 2 children. I have my son and my daughter. I have Maria first, and then I have Kerry, my son, from here. And 2 years afterwards, I have 2 children. And my husband, he used to come and work as well in Weston. They bought the thatched cottage in the meantime with another 2 partners. And then they doing the thatched cottage up. And I used to be fed up. I was only 18 when I have 7 staff there. And I have 2 children. And I bring my sister from home. She was only 14 and a half to look after the children. So I said to my husband one day, look, I didn't marry the cafe, the restaurant. I married you. I never see you. He used to come 1 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock in the morning. 6 o'clock he used to go to the market, do the shopping, and come into Weston. And then there I was with the staff in Bristol. So he says to me, why you like to live? And I say, I would like to live in Weston.
Right.
And then my husband, he came to Weston to find another restaurant for us because we used to be partners in the thatch. And he can't find, so the estate agent here, Stephen, says, why Mr. Michael don't buy a small hotel? As the Seaward was for sale for 12 rooms. So he bought the hotel. When he bought the hotel and he put the deposit and everything, I don't want the hotel. I was so young and I have my 2 children. I don't want to work 24 hours a day. And I used to say to my husband, no, I don't want to. Nitsa will be all right, don't worry, and all that. So we bought the hotel, and then we bought the partners out from the thatched cottage, and then we bought the second hotel next door. And I have another 2 children.
Okay.
Because my mother, she came from home and she says,
he's
2
at home
children.
now, isn't it?
Yeah, 2 children is not enough. Why don't you have any more children? So I have Sophia, the third one, and then in a year's time I have Michelle. They only have a year between them, but I enjoy every minute of them because they was young and I was growing with them. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed my children. By 27, I have 4 children, and I was very happy about that. Very happy. Then, from that, obviously my children, they make different business. They used to have the Regency Insurance and that, and they do another business as well. And then on the 2008, 16th of February, they bought a pier. They bought a pier and they spent quite a lot of money, about 2 million from the February to the end of July. And the end of July, the pier is banned.
Yeah.
My son, he left on a night before, and at 7 o'clock, the police bring him from Spain to burn the pier. So the pier has been burned.
So I was living in Cyprus at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing it
Yeah.
on the telly over there on the Cypriot
Yeah,
TV.
and then I have to say that I don't think he has a lot of help from the council in that. And not then I was walking from town and I see somebody, one of the hoteliers, says, Mrs. Michael, how are you? I say, I'm all right, thank you. He says, how's Kerry? How's the pier? And I said, well, I mean, I did say a few things. And he says to me, look, Mrs. Michael, tell Kerry to put in the paper, I'm not going to do the pier, I'm going to block it up, and I'm not going to pay the pier. And if people, they want you to do the pier, then they start. So that's what he did. And then the people, they come with emails, letters, and phone calls, and whatever. And obviously they decide, Sophie, Kerry and Michelle, to do the pier. And then they have 6 designs, different kind, which they display them at the Winter Gardens, and they give the chance to the people of Weston to see which design. Obviously they choose this design, which we like, but there was more expense on this one. So one day when they finish, I went to Kerry and said, Kerry, what's going on? He says, Mom, you know which one they decide? Decide on the very expensive, 10 million more. And I said to him, do your cross and go for it. That's what I said to him. Yeah. And then afterwards, they started building the pier, which was very, very interesting. They used to have 300 people. They used to have to work in for the pier. And because the water comes and goes, they used to come from Cardiff. And watching it to be built was something else. And I think they opened the 23rd of 2023, in October, I think, 2010, I think they opened. And it was so nice, lovely. Yeah. That's my story for my children. I have 4 children.
It's not all your story, though.
What do you want me for?
Okay, I just want to know, did you ever feel homesick at all?
Well, at the first when I came, it was terrible for me. I never left from my parents before. I used to cry every day for quite a few months. And then obviously I tried to, my husband, he says, after we got married, I take you back home and all that. But somehow we stay a bit later, and then the children come.
And how has Weston changed for you since 1955?
A lot.
Do you feel, I don't know what it was like with the integration back then with the Greek community coming in, but
my husband helped a
Weston...
lot for the Greek community, a lot. When we start have the extension in the front, part of our garden is the front of the garden, about 12 foot. All the other ones, they didn't have nothing. So my husband, he put the plans in to the council to extend it to go, in the garden, 12 feet. And they refused. So they give us, we used to be a houses with the windows, big windows, and a rich house, the rich people, they used to come for a holiday, they says, I don't know. So, and then as soon as my husband, he put the plans in, the next time, the Smith and Mr. Wright, the Birchfield, they start building the way my husband put the plans. So my husband has gone to the council and he says, is there any discrimination in this town? They says, why, Mr. Michael? He says, well, I put the plans, you don't give me the license, and you give to the other ones because they used to be in the council. So after that, obviously, they give us the license, and we built the extension, and the other ones, they follow. But my husband, he helped a lot of people to come to Weston, Greek people. Mm-hmm. And my brothers and my sisters, I am one of 5. We bring all my brothers and sisters. My husband, he was one of 10. And he bring 5 here. He bring 2 sisters before we met and we got married. 2 sisters, and then a brother. 3 sisters here, and a brother and my husband, 5 of them. I have 5 of them in Cyprus. they was.
And did your parents not want to come over?
I bring my parents.
Oh, you have?
Yes, my husband and I would bring my parents. I bring all my brothers and sisters. They come, and my parents, they die here. They die young, actually. My parents. My mother's 59 and my father's 64. They die here. But all of us, we have 5 children, and we are in 8 years. We are the 5 of us. We are very close, 5 of us. Yes.
It's nice that you've been able to
And
bring
we're
them
still
all back.
in Weston. Yes,
Yeah.
we're still in Weston. My family is Kimitri. My surname, my surname, before was Kimitri. So it's my brothers here, Kimitri. Vaso,
So I know Yvonne.
Yvonne.
She,
Yvonne, she's married to my nephew. All of them, most of them, they're my nephews, my brothers, my sisters, my cousins, my sister-in-laws, all the family. If you start from the top, my brother, he rented out, he used to have a restaurant in the corner, which is Michelangelo. And then coming back is me, my husband and myself, we was there. And then he bring his sister, he used to have the Monaco. He bring his uncle, his cousins used to have the Welbeck. And then coming down, Yvonne's parents, we didn't help them, their cousin helped them. And then the Thatch Cottage, and the other one, the Continental, was my husband's cousins then. Coming back now, the York Hotel is my nephew, before is my brother. Of course, here is my sons, and opposite, my sons and my daughter. Good, further down is my daughter. Further down is my sister, one of my sisters. One of my other sisters and my nephews, they was big business. Wow. They was there in the 7 and Flamingo, the name. All of them,
Right, going back to your childhood then, did you ever envision leaving Cyprus?
No.
You
I
had
don't
no-
know. This just happened. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just happened.
Well, is this a normal thing that families would go back to Cyprus to marry?
No, I'm married here.
Yeah, I mean, as in the parents going to your parents.
No, I don't think so.
No?
You're married where you... But you have to go register those days. And, of course, married, the Greek wedding as well. Which I've been married, as I say, 4 Saints in London.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm married there. Yes, yes.
Lovely. And we did do a little bit with Andrew, the chanter, and he was
Which Andrew?
Yeah, the chanter at the St Andrew's Church.
Oh, my husband's nephew. They are all nephews.
I would be surprised.
And Andrew Kimitri. Yeah.
Andrew Kimitri is my nephew.
Yeah.
Andrew from the church. Andrew
Andrew-
Yvonne.
Yeah.
Andreas, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andreas from the church.
Church.
He's my husband's nephew. Another one is my husband's nephew. We bring them, they stay with us, they've been to school, they've been educated.
You
And
did
another
mention
one
that it
as
was an
well.
uncle, didn't
And
he?
another one as well, on
'Cause
Michael,
he was telling us about his childhood as well, how he went to...
Uncle Alex, was it?
my husband.
Yeah. Right.
he was telling us about how he used to have to travel to a different village for schools and things like that. And
Yes, back home,
yeah,
Andreas,
Yeah.
he tell you. If I say I know a lot about my time up to I left for England, I was very good in school. I was first, at all my years. I did up to 12 years old, 11 when we finished. And I want, my ambition was to be educated. I like to go, I like to learn. I always read. I always, And my father, he used to have a grocery in the town, say, and a coffee bars. And he used to know a lot of people and the teachers and all. So my father, he don't allow me to go. Those days, they believed the boys, the sons, to go to a higher school. So they didn't send me. But because the village, they want to pay for me to go because I was so good. And my father, he says, no, it's not the money. Just he didn't let me. And then the second time when you give exams to go to the higher school, he let me go, 9 of us. And I remember the teacher, he says to me, he says, the daughter, my father's name was Kyriakos, daughter of Kyriakos, he says to me, they says, you're very good. The next day was my name right on the top. And then he get me ready, all my clothes and everything, and he didn't allow me to go. He didn't send me to school. So they sent me to go for dressmaking. It's not what I want, but I learn. And as soon as I finish, they engage me. When I came here, I asked my husband to send me to school. But obviously, my father, he used to be very jealous. My husband worst. He says no, because I've been married with him, he doesn't send me to school. And as I said, we stayed in Lando for those months. Coming back to Weston, I have my children. And when we bought the hotel, I insist I want to go to school. And still he didn't send me to school. But I am a person, I like to learn all the time. I like to ask. I like to see. I love geography. I love, I love business so much. And I love business so much. And I say to myself, when I used to say from home, when I used to get married, I educate all my children. And all my children, they've been in private schools. All my grandchildren, they are in private schools. And my great-grandchildren, the two for school, they are in private schools. I have 5 great-grandchildren there. I love education.
Did you bring him up with the 2 cultures in mind then? As in the... did they learn the Greek culture as well as the British culture?
Yes. My children, they pass O levels, A levels. Actually, Michelle and Sophia, the 2 last one, and Maria and Kerry, I used to take them to school. When I have Maria, I was beginning of my 18. And then I have Kerry, my son. I was 20. And I used to take them to Greek school, and I have a big gap between Kerry and Sophia. And, I was... And then the other one, coming for my 2 daughters, the last ones, I want them to go to university. And my husband, he was very jealous. He don't want to send them, he wants to send them, but he don't want to send them away, because there was no university in Weston. And I keep saying, one minute we agree, and the next minute when he sat with his friends, oh, I have this big hotel, and then I have the daughters. Who is going to look after it? And then he changed his mind. So near the time, the second time when they give exams, I was thinking, and I called one of the priest from the church, Padre Yorios, his name. And I said, Padre Yorio, when you finish, you come, I say, to the hotel. And you say to my husband, I go and get the drinks, and you start saying about your children, which university goes and all that. When I come back, I say, I come to the conversation and see. So when I came back, I bring the drinks and all that. Obviously, he's talking about his children. And I say about my daughters. My husband, of course, he was no in front of him. And then I heard him say, only maybe in Bristol, I take these words. The priest is gone, I took these words. And then I don't know what I'm going to do. I phoned one of the councillors. It used to be Mr. Harrison and Mr. Dixon. I phoned to Mr. Dixon. I said, Mr. Dixon, please, I need your help. What is it, Mrs. Michael? I said, can you come to the hotel? He came to the hotel. And I said, please, can you help me? I have the 2 daughters. I would like them to go to university, but I have a bit of problem with my husband. And what shall I do? And he said to me, Mrs. Michael, you have to be very lucky. The second time they give exams was 2,500 students, and you're going to be very lucky for your daughters to... I said, try. My daughters, they've gone to give exams. They passed. And of course, not much, not to put both of them the same time. So we agree with that as well. It doesn't matter. One used to go in the morning and one in the afternoon, I think. Coming to the next year, he phoned to us and he says, Mrs. Michael, Mr. Michael, he says, I'm going to put the girls the same. I said to my husband, let's go. So we went there and I said, I'm sorry, and I say, would you like, I say, for yourself, in the winter, to have 2 daughters, one coming and the other one in the dark? And now I'm worried, I say, please, can you do anything about it? And then he put them, both of them, the same time. But my other daughter, Sophia, she lost a year by the time they give the exams and everything, so they finished together. And both of them, they're lawyers. And when my husband, he realized what they're going for, he was so proud of them. He never used to disturb them. They used to go to the house. We have house on the top, and we have very big garden. My husband in the garden. We used to buy the stuff, and they put it under the grill. We didn't disturb them at all, and he was so proud of them. And when we been to the graduation, there was on the top, Sophia and Nitsa Michael was the best time of my life. So I achieved that. Whatever I want, I achieved that. I achieve a lot of things because I've been working very hard. I love business.
What is it you actually wanted to do, though? Did you want to be a lawyer or a zookeeper, or?
I don't know. I never
as a
thought about
child?
that, but I want to learn all the time. I used to have the books, read. My parents' house was outskirts of the town, and I used to walk and read all the time. And when I came here, I read anything. Even now, anything I read, and I ask a lot of things. Yes, that's
See,
my.
that's the kind of memories we want.
I am a strong person.
Mm-hmm.
I am. Yes. If I want something, I want to get it.
Well, you must have. You got your daughters to university.
Yes. Anything else you'd like to ask me?
Have you ever thought about moving back, or
No.
this is now completely your home? And
I know more from this country than my own country. I lost my parents here. I have all my brothers and sisters here. I have my family, all my family, and I've been very lucky. All my family, they are in Weston. All my children, all my grandchildren, they're like that. I have a house on the top, and 3 of my daughters, I have 3 daughters, and my house is there, 4 together, 4 houses, and my son, he lives on the other side.
nice.
I'm happy. I've been very lucky, and I'm happy what I want. I hope God to give a good health to everybody and to my children, my family.
Is there any traditions that you actually brought over from Cyprus to here that you still maintain now?
I still doing the traditions from Cyprus, yes, here, more than anything, more the Cyprus. I just learned afterwards with my husband and that, like the bishops, the archbishop, anybody comes like that, from the schools, always they come to us, they stay with us. And like for churches, the other thing is the church, the St. Andrew's Church. One day, my son's friend, he was getting married in the hotel, and his mother, they come to bring the cake. And I offered them a drink, I was behind the bar, and I said, they says they're going to pull a church to put flats. And I said to these people, what nationality you are? I said, we're Greek Orthodox. I say, I don't understand why they pull down the churches and they're going to build flats. Oh, she says to me, why, where? I say, up the top, they says. She says to me, you're looking for a church? And I say, yes, we're looking for the church. So when my husband come, I tell him, she tell me about this church. Used to be St. Juice's church, and it left only with 8 people, and they can't look after it. So my husband, the next day, he's gone, and we bought the church. £6,500. I think my husband, he put £1,000 on the top, and the rest of it, obviously, the people. And now the community, they built the church. But I said, when I have the church, I want to dedicate the church, which we did, me and my husband. When the church is finished, we dedicated the church. As you go in, our name is on the right. Yes. And then my son, he spent quite a lot of money on the church. He don't want us to tell much, but he helped a lot. And since my husband died, before I say that, I dedicated another church in Crete. I've been to Crete, to ourselves, by the Psiloridi, the Mount Psiloridi, the name, by there. So I dedicated that church. And that time when I dedicated the church, we was going to go with my son. And that time when it burned, the pier is burned. So I said to my son, I don't want to go. He says, we have to go, Mom, because the patriarchy was coming from Egypt. And there's so many bishops, there was there, so many. And I had to go with a friend of ours, an older lady. And that the time when we didn't know the pier, it was insurance. And every day that week when I went there, I wait for my son and my daughter to say if the pier, was insured, because I was very worried. And one day was another priest with us from Cyprus, and he says to me, Nitsa, can you offer, you give us a drink? And I say, well, I can give you anything. What does he say? And he says, yes, the pier is insured. And I keep saying to my son, don't worry, now when we dedicated the church, it's going to be right, it's going to be sure. And thanks God, I dedicated that church as well. Me and my husband, I had to go there. And the patriarchs from Egypt, Alexandria, he was there, and a lot of bishops. I was going to say something else and I forgot now. What else you asked me?
About traditions.
Yeah.
That you brought
Yes,
that you
and
still
then,
practice.
when it's the same day, I do everything better than Cyprus. Now, Cyprus they don't do a lot, the big bread like that, or all the other breads, all the oliva, everything. And when somebody died, when we lost our parents here, we used to make and we still make, that. And the other thing when I was going to say, since my husband died, every 2 years, my children, Michelle and Carrie, they do in memorial. So the memorial, the first year, they have £106,000. They give 53,000 to hospice and 53,000 to our church. The second time, I think, was 127,000. They help different people, I know. The third time, 200. Anyway, it's nearly $1 million now. And the last one, which was in November, was 252,000, I think. They built a ward in the hospital. They sent children in America. They did a lot of things in Western.
You're very proud of your children,
Yes,
aren't you?
a lot of things in Western. The last one was a girl, 6 years old, I think, and she needs £60,000. I think the parents, they find the 30, and they pay the 30 as well.
Yes.
Not long ago, I had to go myself and we take a photograph. Some wheelchairs, but the ones for the son, because the hospice is there, and we did that. The other time they sent this boy when he has a short leg in America, and they pay for all the relations, they stay there, and of course cost quite a lot of money. Quite a lot of things they pay. Yes, quite a lot of
Nice.
things.
Very kind of them.
Yeah.
Very proud
And
of
my
you. You're a very
husband-
proud mama.
Yeah, my husband, we used to do charity. Obviously, those years we didn't have a lot of money, but we used to do parties in the Sea Ward, and we give the money. And before my husband died, a few years before, they promised us when they built in the hospital to name one of the wards for the Greek community, and they didn't do that. They put a hat on, cheddar, or I don't know, the other. And my husband, he went and he made a complaint. He says, you promised me, because we used to give money, and they give us the intensive care. The plate there is the Greek community. That's my husband's disease. And the other one is my husband's. I had to go and say what age of the children to do the ward. So my husband, he used to smile. He used to be very happy. So I choose the children, 4, 5, 3, instead of the very small babies. And his accent is Michael unit is in the hospital. The very first one, they put a small train as you come into Western. That's the plan, like that. A lot. They did a lot, my children. Yeah, a lot. I'm very proud of them, and I hope everybody to be healthy.
I was going to say, do you find that the integration now, because obviously you've said when you first arrived, the council weren't very helpful and stuff. How is it now with the people of Western? Now you've been here so many years and it's changed over the years. Do you think attitudes have relaxed towards the Greek community?
I don't know. At the beginning, when my children, they bought the pier, obviously a lot of people, they come to the hotel now, and I can hear people, they say, why the Greeks? And also, not why the Greeks, that bad word as well. And I used to get very upset. And I say, why don't you say about the Germans? They've been there 60 years, the Germans. Why you don't say about the Germans? At least my children, they're born here. They're British. If you ask Michelle or Carrie or my children, they're British. I mean, it's there here where they've been born. They're not Cypriot. They come from Cypriot parents, but they're British.
So
I
you
used to
don't
get very
think-
upset.
Because you don't think it's changed then? It's got more liberal over the years.
They have that jealousy. I don't know why. I can understand why. I don't know. I remember when it's opened the pier and it was so many people, and we come, and one lady, she was taking the photographs, and I stand by her and say she's lovely, and, they're very happy, and I say, I'm sorry, and I say, not all of you, not all other people in Western. I say, I was so upset, and I did say to her.
I was going to say, pretty much my last question would be, weddings. I love weddings.
The weddings we have here.
I'm not sure on who's married and who's not in your children, and I don't know, are they all married to Greeks? Are they kept within the Greek community, or have they married out? And if so, how have you worked on the different side of the Greek Orthodox religion?
We have the register when my children they married, and then the Greek. And when my children married, or if you see the weddings we have for them, Maria, when she got married, she was the first one in Weston. We didn't have any church or anything. We used to take 2 big icons to St. John's Church. We borrowed the church every Sunday, every other Sunday, I can't remember when anyway. And my Maria, when she got married, my husband, he wants to take her with a violin from the seaward all the way in the street to the church, and from the church to the Winter Gardens. We have over 1,000 people. And when they're dancing, they put the money on. Yes. As I say, I was very young with Maria when she got married, because she got married very young as well. And my other children the same, Carrie the same, Michelle. And he didn't take them with the violin, but they get married that way. But very big weddings, very nice weddings. But unfortunately, 3 of them, they divorced. All of them, they married with the ones they love. All of them. We just left them, to marry with the ones they love. The one Maria, she got married, she was in love when we took her on holiday. She was only 16 years and 2 months old. And him, he was just 18, he's gone to the army. So we bring him here, they married and everything. After 29 years, it's not good I say that? No? No.
Oh, carry on.
No.
Because it'll all be edited and,
Yeah, they divorce.
What you don't want will not be published or anything.
The 3 of my daughters, they divorce different ways.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm divorced.
That's life. I don't know.
Some of us are lucky and we get the right one first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know, anything else you'd like to ask me?
Well, if there's anything that you say, if you imagine you were talking to your grandkids and you were telling them about why you came here or anything, is there anything?
I tell them.
You do tell them?
And then they keep saying, Yaya is Nanny, Yaya, you tell me again when you come from Cyprus, how you get married? And I tell them. When my husband died, I make a small book for him with the help with my sister-in-law from home. And because my sister-in-law, she has cancer, she thinks she's going early. So we make it a bit small, but the meaning in that book is there for my husband.
Yeah.
His parents, my parents. When I write something about my husband he used to write me poems, love poems. The couple when you get upset and that, used to get up in the morning, 6 o'clock he was up, I was in bed. Used to go to the garden, either bring me roses every time. Now from June, every day he used to bring me roses. Customers, they ask him outside, is that for us? Oh, no, for my wife. And she used to come to find me. But he write me poems, a lot, about love. Yeah, and he put them either on my ironing board or anywhere. And I used to pick them up all. And then when he died, I put them all in line, and I count them and all that. And I put some poems as well there. I start to write my life as well. I did write all this when I tell you, but I stopped for a while. But something, I just put it.
Oh, please do it.
Put it here and there. But I like to write my life. And I said to my children, you're going to remember. But my grandchildren, as I say, you tell us about this. You tell us. Only Carrie's sons, my grandsons, not so much, but my other ones. I have Sophia, she has 118 and 112. You know, I keep on to them all the time. I never stop. And anything, like yesterday, I went to she's coming here, I think now, the young one. I see my granddaughter with the children, and I was going to leave and try to close the door, and she comes to the door. I say, "You're going to bed, darling, now?" She says, "Yes." I say, "You have to learn to say a prayer." What is it in Greek? Προσευχή. You have to do your προσευχή. And then you say, "Θεέ μου και καλέ πατέρα μου, εσύ που κατοικάς στους ουρανούς, στείλε σε παρακαλώ το Άγιο σου Πνεύμα να με φωτίσει και τούτη την ημέρα να γίνω καλό μωρό. Να φυλάγεις to look after my parents, and Yaya, and your brother, and your cousins." And she just looked at me. I always talk, always myself, I always say it. And if anybody asks me, and I know to give them an advice for something, I give it with all my heart, what I know, obviously.
Well, it's good to pass on your memories.
Yes, what I know. I'm always when I bring up my children, I used to be very young. I used to say to them, never to take anything that does not belong to you. Never to be jealous if they have a nice car, if they have a nice house, if they have this, if they have that. Never. If you achieve everything yourself, yes. If you see an old lady, an old man, anybody wants to cross the road, and they can't manage, you have to go. And if people come in, older people, and you sit down, you have to get up, and you have to give them a food. All my children are like that, all of them. And my grandson, Alex, he came up, and when he bring you up, that's my grandson. Yeah. If you ask him, he'll tell you that. And then I used to say, ο ψεύτης και ο κλέφτης, the liar and the thief, the first year they're happy. But after that, are they going to the court and find out they say lies? Or if they stolen money and all that, whatever they stolen, one day they come out? She is going to say to you, I always speak to my grandchildren, and my children, always.
Nice.
Yes, it was like a friend. So it was like a friend. When my children, they grow up, we was like a friend.
Oh, it's lovely. Absolutely lovely. You got any questions?
No, just one thing off the record. I think our paths crossed many, many years ago because the cafe at St Michael's Hill, I used to go there in the late 60s and early 70s to repair the fruit machine and the jukebox and the pinball machine. So
used to be my brother. Used to be my brother then. I don't know when my brother he left from there, but we left. We bought a hotel.
He had quite a big nose, and he was very tall. Yeah. All I can really remember of him.
What's that?
I say he was quite tall. Yeah. And he had a big nose, but that is my memory of it.
No, he's after us and after my brother as well. My brother is tall, but he's nice, slim, you know. But it's after I can't remember when my brother would bring him to Esto and his wife.
This would be
they used to call him
late 60s,
1.5, anamisi, the high and a half. 1.5 they used to call it. Yeah. It's after my brother. Because when we left, my brother had a place. Yeah.
Bet you had some fun in the swing 60s in Weston.
Yeah. We used to have a lot of problems in St Michael's Hill about the Irish dancing in the back.
Yes.
We used to be 2 doors, and they used to close the doors. And if they want to get out or coming in, and if they know, the customers, they used to open the door because we had a lot of trouble. And also the good ladies on the top.
Oh yes, the ladies of the night.
No, the ladies of the night. I don't know what you want to say.
Definitely swing 60s in Weston.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
No, this was in Bristol.
Was it in Bristol?
They used to come. I remember one. She used to have a tassel and she put it like that, and she used to walk. I remember them. Don't know.
Right. Before we go, then, I let you escape. Do you have your permission? It will obviously be edited. There will be a full transcript of it, and there will be a full record kept and given to the Greek community. Is there anything? Do we have your permission? Because what we're going to aim to do is just get little snippets.
I put them together. The ones you think is there.
Yeah.
But we will keep the full recordings. Will be kept in archive.
You're going to choose, the ones you want to put.
Yeah.
I should think it's all right. I don't know. I never say anything is not.
No. It won't be anything.
That's my story.
It'll be a little bit of your journey, especially the fact that you were seasick.
Yeah.
And
seasick,
the poems, I'm going to have to include the poems from your husband.
What's that?
I'm going to have to include all the little love poems from your husband.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to include
it's better if I give you a book.
You got a book on it?
I make a lot of books, but I still have a lot of Cyprus essays, but I find one and I give it to you, I don't know.
Yeah?
That would be, because we could use that in the actual display.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's okay.
You know, if it's not
my
too private for you.
My children, they
we don't want all your dirty ones.
No, the MBE had to go to the palace.
Oh,
all my
lovely.
family, my son, my daughter, my son's wife, my daughter-in-law, and 3 boys, and me and Michelle. So they have the MBE from the palace.
Very nice.
Yes, that was one of my best days as well.
I bet it was. I bet it was.
One of my best days. Yes, I'm very proud for my children. I love all my children.
My last question then, no regrets? No regrets saying yes all those years ago, even though you haven't met him?
No, I have a good life. Yeah, have a good life. Yeah.
You've made a good life.
I made, yes, you're right, yes. Have a good life. And my children, I never hear no from my children. I never say no. And my grandchildren, come to my grandchildren, they love me so much. So much.
Of course.
Yeah. But I love them all, all who they are and everything. And I give them an advice, like the boys, my son, I keep on to them, and I like to say, what you going to do, in university, that. Look after yourselves, yes.
Okay, what's one piece of advice you can give to the younger generation of the Greek community?
First of all, to be good children, to respect their parents and everybody else, of course, to be somebody, how can I say, I don't know how can I explain, not to be rude to people, not to do their job properly, to love everybody, which is around, I don't know, to be a good people, put it this way, to the world. Okay. I always keep saying to them, when you go out and you have a drink, please have a bottle of drink and put your thumb and take it with you. Don't leave it anywhere around.
Now that's the advice.
I tell them that as well. Don't take anything. No. Anybody tell you to try something, please no. Never try nothing. I always keep on to them because it's youngsters, it's young people. The one is 22, the other one is going to be 21 in September, and the other one 18. And of course the other grandson is the one is here, which is married with the 2 children. Oh, this one here adore me, all my grandchildren. They never say no to me, never. No.
No better.
I've been very, I'm my children. I'm very happy. I have a very good family. I lost my husband early, but when I lost my husband, my children, they asked me if I want to stay to the hotel or I go to the house. And I said, no, I stay to the hotel. I control the hotel. I'm there, control all the staff. I like to have my door open for my children, my grandchildren, my friends, whoever, they're coming in. But I control. I like to do that. I try not to work hard. I don't work hard, but I put all the hours.
But you're there.
All the hours I put. When I get up in the morning, I go to bed 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the night. If I go out a bit, I make sure to leave somebody. Now this year I have somebody and I make him as a manager. And sometimes when I go to my garden. I have a very big garden, an acre and a half garden. I have all different kind of trees and everything. I don't, never that, never.
No vices.
No, never.
Just the one.
I'm strong. I'm a strong person.
Yes.
I'm not. Yeah. I have people that come and see us. Like yesterday, I have a lady. She comes. I did see her for a few years. She come in and to see me and all that. She had a meal. We had a chat. Yes, I'm always like to see people not to suffer, to have, I never had a person to come in my place, and not to offer them a drink or a food. Never. And my children, they know. They are the same.
Yeah, that was the same over in Cyprus.
Yeah, they are the same.
No matter where you went,
food and drink.
Yeah.
Always and stuff. Yeah. I hope you like my story.
Of course we do.
It was really, really good. Thank you.
I hope you like my story.
No, thank you. That was lovely.
And these people, they took their video for the pier. Since they start until it's finished, she says to me, she's Greek and he's English. She says to me, write anything you know about your story. And then I get them and I put them together and I make you a book. Anyway, I write whatever I think. Yeah.
No, I mean we just wanted informal your memories of Cyprus, of here, why you came
Cyprus,
here.
when I used to go to school, I don't have a lot of memories. I used to go to school, but as I say, I used to love school.
So I didn't realise that it was the boys that went on to high school.
Yeah.
So I've learned.
Yeah, but my brother, he was not good in school,
Wow.
so he never been higher. So I was the one.
Yeah.
To
You've
have
got the brains
chance,
of the family.
to have the chance.
No, when I lived in Greece, it was always considered that girl children were a liability to the family, and usually they would try and get the girls married before the sons married.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
To actually get rid of
Actually, if it's a poor family, the sons has to work or whatever to help the girls to get married before they get married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there were too many girls, it could cripple a family.
Yeah, that's right. All the business and the money goes in if you have any.
Two steps behind.
Yeah. Never mind. Yeah.
That was absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much. I'll switch it off
You're
now,
welcome.
Betsy.
Well, but I should think